My name is Erika Wurth. I'm the senior creative writer at Western Illinois University in the English department. Apparently Facebook is having an outage, so we couldn't do our Facebook Live event, and I'm sad, but we're going to take this opportunity to post our event and Facebook Live later, or not Facebook Live, on Facebook on our page, on Instagram, hopefully maybe YouTube. So in a way, we can at least make it even more accessible and available to folks. I am so excited to introduce these three poets to you today. They all come from such incredibly different aesthetic backgrounds and just from such different places. And I want to thank our original benefactors of the Fred Ewing and Lola Austin case, writer in residence, the English department, absolutely our administrative assistant, Jennifer Hamlin, and our chair, Marjorie Allison, and of course my two colleagues, Barbara Lawhorn, who took the Q&A and apparently was her usual wonderful, charming, lovely, intelligent self, and my colleague Meryl Cole, who obviously helps me along in all kinds of ways, including this event. We've got three readers, as I said before, Crisosto Apache, Jennifer Militello, and Marianne Boruch. I've mispronounced their names, I'm so sorry. Please do correct me when you start. But I want to introduce each writer as, right before they read, and then I'll have them read they'll read for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next. So without any further ado, first we have Crisosto Apache, who is originally from Mescalero, New Mexico, on the Mescalero Apache Reservation, and currently lives in the Denver metro area in Colorado with his spouse. He has Mescalero Apache, Chiricahua Apache, and Diné, or Navajo. And I don't want to murder your clan, so I'm just going to say of the Salt Clan, born for the Towering House Clan, and is assistant professor of English at the Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. Crisosto's debut collection is titled Genesis, Struck Out, and he has poems in Denver Quarterly, Hawaii Review, Red Ink Magazine, and Cream City Review, and he's also just a superbly, wonderfully nice guy. So please do enjoy the poems of Crisosto.
I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. I think this is very great. So I'm going to read from my book, Genesis Redacted. It was put out by Lost Alphabet Press. And the idea behind this book really has a lot to do with a sort of self-emergent, maybe even a type of creation story. I didn't really want to get it confused with the biblical Genesis, which is one of the reasons why it's been redacted. This project of mine actually came out with a conversation that I had with my mother while she was still alive, and with this idea of wanting to know what she was doing while I was in utero. So it was really kind of amazing to listen to the stories and having this personal conversation, which is really what led to the thread of the book. It happens in the 9-month gestation period. So I went back and did some research about what was going on at this time during these months. I also sort of paired it with the personal experiences through the poetic voice of what my mother she was doing activity-wise, or what was going on at the time, which was really spending the time on my father's reservation with my father's mother during the winter months, and was doing a lot of the weaving that the Navajo are known for. So I was really grateful to have this experience in terms of having this conversation with my mother, which again led to this project. So I'm going to read the first month and some of the succeeding months after. The beginning, 1971. November says, the heavy frost crawls forward. Her exterior breath exists as a ghost expiration. The deceased face lived inside Tuhajale, a place where water originates, where 0, 0 intersect, a derivation of X, Y. They all extend from white, gray, and black wefts. Our origin, a gray stucco house on a small mesa knoll, devoid of color. One night in November, the Leonid meteor shower penetrates Earth's atmosphere. Residue within the constellation Leo sparks and a luminescent afterglow. Meanwhile, trajectories of lunar missions and nuclear tests commence in an unantiquated devastation of future conquest, November 1st to November 30th. Number 1, 1970. December says, indigo night travels colder. She weaves life as life lives. Her first luminal inception ruptures a divergent winter. Her first disquiet submission wakes an extent slumber. From her first morning symptom, a form of emesis gravidarum, her first gestation faces an easter direction. Her first loom frame tightens, aligning wrapped strands. Her first tethering vibration widens under tension. Her first batten oscillates, wefts between warps. Her first comb teeth separates layers from the center, whirling out. In December, the moon interferes between the earth and sun. Also in December, the solstice occurs, pulling Earth's southern pole towards the sun. Meanwhile, the trajectory of Venus landing mission and nuclear tests commence, diminishing the moonlight in grains of sand. December 1st to December 31st, 1970. Two, 1971. January says, the sheerest white lingers still. Cumulative stars gather against a verdant eastern sky. Her precarious frame rattles the entrance. Her womb leans alongside faint fire. A secondary whelm of kerosene light sinks. Fibers against her dense, rapid border begins to interweave. She emits a woven-laden cradle song. Central fire sings of extinct salt. Collapsing towering houses. Within the first week of January, the quadranted meteor shower grazes the Earth's atmosphere. Residue from the meteor afterglow illuminates the constellation Bootes. Meanwhile, a lunar expedition concludes the moon with undetected nuclear tests. The song ceases. January 1st, 1971 to January 31st, 1971. All right, I'm going to read a poem rather than one of the months. This one is called Severance for MJA, Joe. Arachnid molts its shell. Your casing still speaks to me. Whisper to me as light moors my skin over the relenting beauty of death, who smiles forever ceasing. Beside the cord which tethers us from utero, now I am almost alone. You will never know how I shed. My father gone, my brother gone, my mother. We are neither here nor there, not even in between. We have become islands unto ourselves, a steel knoll, a heap of flaccid flesh, a rising pulp, always unfolding, getting taller with each passing eclipse, a cross-section of intersecting lines, passing back and forth, through and over, balances on its web, gleaming, waiting for a tinge reverb. It is as callous to ignore the flailing wings of a Diptera type, trembling underneath a pedestal, falling into a deathless flight, caught as a rubber carcass lost along the roadside after traveling towards the morning light, as a lost dreamer who lurks behind every calyx, forgetting that uterus tug. 3 hours before dawn, we manage an 8-member mangle, fingers twinge on a sectional cushion, a mall, impressionable slouch. Dew marches by as a ghost herd waging luminous war. Your smile song echoes, a celebration. We are caught in a tinsel grip. In a mirror stare, dawn passes through cloud. We move faster towards the waiting blue mountains. Spider crawls along the tall grass and waits for the trickle. Once we helped a dying man fix his hair, cupped his quivering hands in a stuttered shadow. Now, in my 8 eyes, a younger man stands. He looks at us with his eyes red and aglow, constant and shifting behind maxilla, through abdomen, through tarsus, tasting the world. It could be us, it could be all of us. In a threadbare gather, remove the fluid ridges and wade the water seepage until it becomes a tiny spigot. Eternal drops downward into gravel sink, soaking up the remnant inside the dew-drenched cord. I'm going to read another poem that doesn't have anything to do with the 9 months. This one is called Synapse. In case lining weighs against your skin, sweltering, not swelling, not moving beyond taction or that saddling a bod of breath, which pushes against a guild embroidered or sarcophagus, maybe a chrysalis. Cufflinks secure a phonic breath in crisscrossing singed hands. Another absence of your breath, no exclamations to butterfly wings, no trembling to hummingbirds. Your moon written word, your sun phases form, water delineates the swirling vacuum of air and whispering gasps. Your eyes widen on eaves, awake from this last night. Water ripples from fountain drops, iron wrench turns, and a cloak-wise creak, sighs decease and decompress. Counterclock increases your aspirate and surge. Droplets cushion and from quickening moss, ever thickening at the base. A black glistening liquid undulates with slow currents, splaying glissades of ebbs by plummeting into your chest cavity. Every breath hastens its impact, a cacophony of murmurs, soft kisses on your desiccate forehead, forsaken within a lasting glottal frill, never leaving your sneer, a cadaver's smiling gaze. The night before, a labyrinth of crude bathroom stalls, lining up with each coffer edifice, emanate the echoes of moans and dispels, a small voice among lit lamp flickers. Night after night, these reoccurrences do not fade against the brown rust slippage of liquid language, sitting at the edge of your lips. Verdigris procures a sludge of blatant memory, sacred to turquoise at dusk. That same dusk, your body, is left on a margin of cornfield and merging roadway. Your head faces south, tilting just enough to see the reoccurrence disappear in the gleam of red taillights. You, again, again, and again, until the next morning, as the sun swells with pink linings. It bereaves the sounds of doves taking flight, hushing the shrills of sitting thrush. Let's see. So that last poem was about a dream that I had reoccurring. And I don't really know what the dream is about, other than these images and these messages that I'm getting within it. And I still have that dream to this day, so I'm not really sure what that's about, but it's the same dream that happens every single time. So I decided to write a poem about it. And those are just some of the images within that dream. Let's see, I'm gonna close with this last poem, and it's going to be the last month in the book. And this one is done backwards as opposed to the way the other ones are structured, so that it kind of leaves a closure, because there's a phrase at the end of the poem that is something that's important to the language of how we speak indigenously. Once again, a full moon positions itself between the earth and sun, absorbing all the glory in his rays, emulating. Satellites launch for the first time into Earth's orbit, and one lunar capsule plunges into the sea. Life emerges. Gu'i, my birth. August 1st, 1971 to August 7th, 1971. Emergent emanation from birth, like a cosset lamb. He is placed inside a shoebox, no constitution of place. Towards T'oth, or T'oth, cradleboard. Toward Kwa, or Hawan, home. Towards Nde Bikeya, Dene Bikeya, homeland. Towards Nde Biza, Dene Bizad, language. Life acquisition of identity towards X. A pune, a maskell gathers, burnt wood gathers, sheep harvesters. After, salt is extinct, towering house topples. A return to origin, beginning, center fire, home. Whirling. Then it's Agu. August says, everything ripens. Number 9, 1971, Adagada Adajindi. And that last phrase means from the very beginning. Thank you.